What you are about to hear is not a statement of facts, but an exploration of compelling theories, historical interpretations, and alleged secret plans. This video delves into speculative narratives about hidden influences and future events, aiming to provoke thought and intrigue, not to present definitive truths or cause panic. The responsibility for final interpretation is always yours. Beyond the legends, what if the Illuminati's true power lies in a meticulously crafted blueprint for global control? This video uncovers the chilling story of the Cadence ciphers, a series of cryptic documents hidden for centuries, revealing a dark plan for 2026. Discover how seemingly random global events, economic resets, social redefinitions, and technological advancements are, in fact, part of a grand, orchestrated design. Is humanity unknowingly marching into a future where there are no coincidences, only plans? Prepare for a revelation that will force you to question everything. The name Illuminati resonates with an almost mythical power, a whisper in the dark corners of history, a symbol of hidden influence and global manipulation. Born from the Enlightenment's shadows in 18th century Bavaria, the original order of the Illuminati claimed to seek knowledge and reform, challenging the oppressive powers of church and state. But swiftly, their light was extinguished, or so history tells us. Disbanded, their very existence officially denied, they vanished into the annals of conspiracy. Yet, for centuries, the whispers persisted. What if the banishment was merely a facade? What if the Illuminati simply went deeper underground, transforming from a visible society into an invisible hand, subtly guiding the course of human history from behind the scenes? Theorists argue their influence is etched into the very fabric of our modern world, from revolutions and financial crises to scientific breakthroughs and cultural shifts. They operate through shadows, through symbols, their true power lying not in overt control, but in the meticulous orchestration of seemingly random events. As the saying goes among those who dare to look closer, there are no coincidences, only plans. This isn't merely a historical analysis, it's an unsettling journey into the alleged heart of their enduring influence, culminating in a chilling revelation for the year 2026. What if the Illuminati, far from being a defunct relic of the past, have been working on a centuries-long blueprint for global dominance, a master plan meticulously detailed in secret documents? A plan so insidious, so pervasive, that its very nature defies easy detection, its influence attributed to the natural ebb and flow of human progress. Our exploration begins not with a grand discovery in a dusty archive, but with the painstaking decryption of seemingly unrelated fragments, puzzle pieces scattered across time and continents. What if these pieces, when assembled, unveil a systematic design for a future that is not unfolding naturally, but being carefully engineered? This is the chilling premise we explore, a hidden society with a dark plan, culminating in a pivotal moment just years away. This is the story of the Illuminati's 2026 blueprint. Our descent into this profound conspiracy begins not with an esteemed academic, but with a figure relegated to the fringes, Dr. Arthur Finch. A brilliant, albeit disgraced, investigative journalist and historical researcher, Finch had spent decades relentlessly pursuing what mainstream academia and media derided as Illuminati delusions. His career was a testament to his obsession, fueled by an unwavering belief that deeper truths lay buried beneath official narratives. Now in his late 50s, his face etched with years of tireless, unrewarded pursuit, his eyes still burned with an unwavering, almost manic intensity. Finch lived a solitary existence in a small, cluttered apartment in Boston, Massachusetts, its windows overlooking the cobblestone streets that whispered tales of American Revolution, a revolution some claim was orchestrated by unseen hands. Finch wasn't seeking a single, definitive document. His method was granular, almost archaeological. He believed the Illuminati's blueprint wasn't a single manifesto to be found, but a series of cadence ciphers, subtle directives embedded within seemingly innocuous historical records, philosophical texts, and even architectural designs. He sought anomalies, patterns, recurring symbols that seemed out of place. It was a painstaking, often frustrating, search. One cold, blustery Tuesday in early 2024, with a biting wind whipping off the Atlantic and rattling the old windowpanes of his apartment, Finch was poring over digitized archives of 18th-century philosophical societies. He was scrutinizing a rare first edition of an obscure Masonic treatise, held in the restricted section of a university library known for its overlooked collections. His focus narrowed on a seemingly random page, detailing a minor administrative dispute within a forgotten European lodge. But a tiny, almost invisible watermark, previously dismissed as a printing error, caught his eye. Under a specialized UV light, which he always carried, it shimmered. A profound sense of unease, a prickling sensation that transcended mere excitement, washed over Finch. He felt a chilling presence, as if the very air in the quiet library study had grown heavy with centuries of unspoken secrets. His fingers, usually steady, trembled slightly as he adjusted his portable UV lamp. What began to resolve beneath the text wasn't more Masonic symbolism. It was a series of intricate, almost fractal geometric patterns, interwoven with what appeared to be astrological charts that, oddly, seemed to deviate from standard historical calculations. And interspersed within these, micro-inscriptions in what looked like a blend of Latin and Old German, rendered in a script that evoked both scientific precision and arcane knowledge. Finch spent the next 72 hours, the Boston daylight fading into chilly twilight and then dawn again, meticulously cross-referencing these newly revealed patterns. What emerged was a startling revelation. These weren't mere anomalies, they were precisely coded instructions, a multi-layered palimpsest of directives spanning centuries. He found references to pivotal cadences, strategic shifts in global events designed to occur at specific intervals. And one such cadence point, marked with chilling precision, was the year 2026. Finch's skepticism, honed by years of academic rigor, crumbled under the weight of the undeniable evidence. He wasn't just analyzing history, he was looking at a meticulously crafted blueprint, a silent, pervasive plan for humanity's future. "There are no coincidences," he whispered, his voice hoarse from lack of sleep. "Only plans." The cadence ciphers, discovered by Dr. Finch, were unlike any historical document. They were not grand manifestos or overt declarations of intent. Instead, they were a meticulously disguised collection of cryptic, interconnected directives, hidden in plain sight, scattered across various historical artifacts and within seemingly mundane public records. Finch's relentless pursuit, fueled by his conviction that there are no coincidences, only plans, had finally yielded the key to unlocking centuries of engineered history. The nature of these cipher pages defied simple categorization. Some appeared as philosophical treatises, their true meaning subtly hidden within allegorical narratives. Others mimicked complex economic models, their intricate calculations concealing precise instructions for financial manipulations. Still others were disguised as social commentaries, their benign observations masking deeper strategies for shaping public opinion and societal norms. These weren't overt commands, but rather meticulous blueprints for influence, designed to be understood only by the initiated, a multi-generational plan unfolding through strategic, pivotal cadences. Finch's breakthroughs came through relentless cross-referencing. He found what appeared to be mathematical equations subtly integrated into Da Vinci's lesser-known anatomical drawings, a chilling echo of another potential secret. He discovered peculiar astronomical charts tucked away in old nautical logs from the 17th century, hinting at cosmic alignments as markers. And he found hidden symbols, not unlike those in ancient Mayan prophecies, embedded in the architecture of foundational American buildings, like certain federal structures in Washington, D.C. and colonial-era landmarks in Philadelphia. These weren't random discoveries, they were puzzle pieces from a grand design. The documents were written in a terrifying blend of historical ciphers, arcane symbols, and a sophisticated numerical code, hinting at a long-term, multi-generational plan spanning centuries. Finch spent weeks, his apartment now a war room of maps, diagrams, and historical texts, slowly decrypting the layers of obfuscation. The deeper he went, the clearer the chilling picture became. Every major historical shift, every societal trend, every crisis that led to a new order, was meticulously charted as a cadence towards a final culmination. And that culmination was explicitly marked for 2026. The terror in Finch's heart wasn't just from the existence of such a plan, but from its sheer audacity and meticulous detail. The Illuminati, if these ciphers were genuine, weren't merely influencing events, they were engineering reality. The documents revealed how seemingly chaotic moments in history were, in fact, carefully planned jumps in a global symphony of control. Finch felt the cold, hard weight of a truth too massive for the world to easily accept, that nothing was random, and the future was being built, brick by manipulated brick, by an unseen hand. The very essence of coincidence was a carefully crafted illusion. As Dr. Finch decrypted the cadence ciphers, the first pillar of the Illuminati's dark plan for 2026 emerged with chilling clarity, a meticulously orchestrated economic recalibration. This was not a predicted collapse, but a controlled, global reset, designed to fundamentally restructure financial systems and consolidate power, leaving vast populations reliant on new, centralized digital mechanisms. The ciphers detailed how seemingly unrelated financial crises throughout history, from the Great Depression to the 2008 crash, were not random occurrences, but carefully planned cadences, strategic shifts to weaken existing structures and prepare for a new, more controlled order. They outlined how global digital currencies, initially promoted as solutions for efficiency and transparency, would become integral to this control. Finch saw diagrams detailing how personal assets would be tied to digital identities, how transactions would be meticulously monitored, and how access to resources could be instantly granted or revoked based on compliance. The documents outlined a precise timeline for the transition, with 2026 marked as the year when this new economic infrastructure would achieve widespread, almost inescapable, integration. Finch discovered schematics detailing the deliberate phasing out of physical cash, the promotion of universal basic income tied to digital platforms, and the subtle incentivization of behaviors that align with the new economic order. The goal was not overt enslavement, but a system where economic freedom was an illusion, tightly managed by unseen hands. He saw references to how current global events, like rising inflation or supply chain disruptions, were part of this strategic recalibration, creating a sense of urgency and a demand for radical solutions. The blueprint revealed how these engineered crises would lead populations to willingly accept centralized digital systems, believing them to be their saviors, without realizing they were embracing a new form of servitude. The air in Finch's apartment, once filled with the scent of old paper, now seemed to crackle with the silent hum of impending digital chains. The true terror was the realization that this wasn't a future dystopia, it was an ongoing process. The ciphers detailed how seemingly benevolent technological advancements, combined with carefully timed economic shocks, were slowly guiding humanity towards a predetermined state of absolute financial dependence. The message resonated with horrifying clarity: there are no coincidences, only plans. And this economic plan for 2026 promised not just stability, but pervasive, invisible control. As Dr. Finch continued his descent into the cadence ciphers, the chilling sophistication of the Illuminati's dark plan for 2026 became even more apparent. Beyond economic control, the documents meticulously detailed strategies for social redefinition, a calculated manipulation of societal values and norms designed to reshape collective consciousness and promote unquestioning compliance. The blueprints described how traditional societal structures, once foundational, would be subtly eroded. Finch saw diagrams illustrating the strategic promotion of specific cultural trends, the amplification of certain ideologies, and the systematic marginalization of dissenting voices. The goal was to cultivate a collective consciousness that prioritized conformity and surveillance over individual freedom and critical thought. This wasn't achieved through overt coercion, but through a pervasive, almost imperceptible influence embedded in every facet of daily life. The ciphers detailed the role of media, education, and entertainment as key instruments in this social engineering. Finch uncovered strategies for subtly influencing curricula in schools, for shaping public discourse through controlled news narratives, and for embedding specific messages within popular entertainment. By 2026, the plan dictated, a pervasive, new normal would be established, a societal landscape where nonconformity would be inherently stigmatized, and the very idea of independent thought would be viewed with suspicion. This was control through cultural osmosis, a slow, insidious reprogramming of societal values. He saw references to how seemingly organic social movements, or cultural shifts, were in fact, meticulously guided cadences, designed to push society towards a predetermined state of compliance. The documents hinted at the strategic use of social media algorithms to create echo chambers, reinforcing desired narratives and suppressing opposing viewpoints. The true horror was the realization that human beliefs, values, and even desires were being subtly sculpted by an unseen hand, pushing humanity towards a collective mentality where individual autonomy was not overtly suppressed, but simply made irrelevant. The sheer audacity of this social engineering plan left Finch reeling. The Illuminati, if these ciphers were accurate, were not merely influencing society, they were redefining the very essence of human interaction and collective identity. The message resonated with terrifying clarity: there are no coincidences, only plans. And this social plan for 2026 promised not just order, but a profound, invisible control over the human spirit. The deeper Dr. Finch delved into the cadence ciphers, the more terrifyingly comprehensive the Illuminati's dark plan for 2026 became. The economic recalibration and social redefinition were mere components of a grander design, inextricably linked to the third, most insidious pillar: technological consolidation. This wasn't just about advanced gadgets, it was about the seamless integration of technology into every facet of existence, creating an inescapable web of omnipresent control. The blueprints revealed how seemingly benevolent technological advancements, celebrated as progress, were in fact integral to this ultimate control mechanism. Finch saw detailed diagrams of smart cities, where every street lamp, every traffic light, every public space was connected to a central network, monitoring movement, sound, and even biometric data. He found schematics for AI-driven governance systems, promising unparalleled efficiency and unbiased decision-making, while subtly removing human oversight and accountability. Ubiquitous surveillance, initially justified for security, would become an ingrained part of daily life, its presence so constant it would be no longer perceived. The ciphers explicitly marked 2026 as the year when these interconnected systems would achieve full integration and near impossibility of dismantlement. Finch discovered references to advanced biometric identification, digital health passports, and personalized AI assistants that would manage every aspect of an individual's life, from financial transactions, linking to the economic recalibration, to social interactions, linking to social redefinition. The terrifying implication was a society where every action, every thought, every movement was subtly influenced, nudged, or even curtailed by an invisible digital hand. The documents detailed the strategic promotion of specific technological innovations, emphasizing their convenience and problem-solving capabilities, while downplaying their inherent control mechanisms. Finch saw how debates around privacy and freedom would be systematically marginalized, dismissed as resistance to progress. The true horror was the realization that humanity was willingly building its own cage, constructing a seamless, invisible network of oversight that, by 2026, would render true freedom an archaic concept. This technological blueprint was the backbone of the entire Illuminati plan, enabling the other cadences to function flawlessly. It wasn't about controlling governments directly, it was about controlling the very infrastructure of modern life. The chilling message resonated: there are no coincidences, only plans. And this technological plan for 2026 promised not just efficiency, but pervasive, inescapable control over every human being. As Dr. Finch continued his descent into the cadence ciphers, the most insidious and terrifying pillar of the Illuminati's dark plan for 2026 revealed itself: narrative control. This wasn't about suppressing dissenting voices, it was about orchestrating reality itself, constructing a pervasive truth that would render any genuine opposition meaningless. The documents laid bare the strategies for shaping global narratives and public opinion, ensuring that the masses would willingly accept the predetermined future. The blueprint described the meticulous crafting of false flag events or engineered crises, designed to appear organic and unexpected. These carefully created shocks would then justify new levels of control, new social redefinitions, and new technological integrations. Finch saw diagrams detailing how a seemingly spontaneous global uprising could be sparked, or how an economic collapse could be triggered, all to create a demand for the very solutions the Illuminati intended to implement, consolidating their power under the guise of necessity. The ciphers revealed the chilling precision with which information would be managed. Finch discovered strategies for controlling mainstream media outlets, for subtly influencing educational curricula, and for manipulating social media algorithms to amplify desired narratives and swiftly suppress any dissenting viewpoints. The concept of cognitive dissonance was explicitly referenced: how to make people believe two contradictory ideas simultaneously, or how to subtly shift their perception of reality without them ever realizing they were being manipulated. By 2026, the plan dictated, the ability for independent thought to truly challenge the established narrative would be severely compromised. Critical thinking would be replaced by emotional responses, and nuanced debate by tribalistic echo chambers. The documents hinted at the strategic use of AI-generated content, news articles, documentaries, even personal testimonials, so realistic that discerning fact from fiction would become impossible. Humanity would be living in a meticulously constructed reality, a pervasive illusion where the truth was simply what the architects of perception decided it should be. This pillar, narrative control, was the ultimate key, enabling all other cadences to unfold smoothly. It wasn't about ruling by force, but by consent, by shaping the very thoughts and beliefs of the global population. The chilling message resonated through every encrypted line: there are no coincidences, only plans. And this plan for 2026 promised not just control over resources, or societies, but over the very essence of human thought and perception, sealing humanity's fate in a grand, unseen design. As Dr. Arthur Finch delved deeper into the cadence ciphers, the chilling implications of the Illuminati's blueprint became a living nightmare. He was no longer just an academic, he was a profound threat to an ancient, pervasive power, and the pursuit of this truth came with an unbearable price. What began as solitary research quickly transformed into a terrifying realization: the very unseen hand he sought to expose was now reaching for him. He noticed the subtle signs first, the insidious creep of surveillance. His research computer, isolated from public networks, developed inexplicable, sophisticated glitches, as if being probed by unseen intelligence. Files he hadn't accessed in days would mysteriously appear as recently opened or subtly altered. Anonymous, untraceable phone calls would ring, only to click silent when answered. Then came the more chilling incidents. A discarded coffee cup on his desk would be subtly rearranged. His mail, meticulously organized, would show signs of tampering. The air in his usually quiet Boston apartment now felt heavy, thick with unseen eyes, the hum of the city seeming to merge with the subtle, pervasive presence of being watched. Finch knew he was being monitored. He spotted the same nondescript black sedan parked several blocks from his apartment building, day after day, week after week. Figures in dark, unidentifiable suits, seemingly innocuous, would appear and disappear from his peripheral vision in public spaces, always just out of reach. His once skeptical mind, now rewired by the terrifying precision of the ciphers, registered these anomalies with chilling clarity. They weren't after his old, debunked theories, they were after the truth of the Illuminati blueprint for 2026, and they knew he had it. The pressure was immense, a constant, crushing weight. The pressure mounted relentlessly. Finch's dwindling financial resources, already strained by decades of self-funded research, began to inexplicably evaporate. Anonymous legal challenges threatened his few remaining assets. His last remaining academic contacts, once secretly supportive of his unique perspective, cut ties abruptly, their voices strained with fear and veiled warnings. He was being systematically isolated, forced into the same lonely, paranoid exile he imagined other truth-seekers had endured. The message was chillingly clear: abandon the truth, disavow his findings, or disappear entirely. But Finch, fueled by a burning conviction that there are no coincidences, only plans, could not abandon it. The terrifying vision of economic recalibration, social redefinition, technological consolidation, and narrative control for 2026 burned in his mind. He couldn't let humanity be led blindly into this orchestrated future. In the dead of a freezing February night in Boston, the city lights shimmering through a thin layer of sleet, Dr. Arthur Finch made his final, desperate move. He knew they were closing in. With trembling hands, his heart pounding like a frantic drum against his ribs, he initiated the complex, multi-layered protocols he'd meticulously set up over years of paranoid preparation. He uploaded the encrypted files, the core of the Illuminati's cadence ciphers, to a series of distributed, anonymous servers hidden across the globe. He linked them to dead man switches, automated releases to trusted, anonymous journalistic collectives and radical online communities, set to trigger if his digital activity ceased for 72 hours. This was his last stand, a desperate gamble to ensure the truth, however terrifying, saw the light of day. Just as the final upload bar reached 100%, the heavy, reinforced door of his apartment splintered inwards with a thunderous, echoing crash. The splintering crash of his apartment door marked the brutal end of Dr. Arthur Finch's physical freedom, but the explosive beginning of his true mission. As dark figures swarmed the cluttered interior of his Boston apartment, Finch, now an almost phantom presence, slipped through a meticulously prepared hidden exit, a narrow passage concealed behind a bookshelf. The cold February night air was a sharp, biting contrast to the suffocating dread he left behind. He was gone, vanished into the shadows of the city he had always sought to expose, leaving behind only the cold shell of his abandoned research, and the undeniable truth he had defiantly set loose. His disappearance, swift and untraceable, quickly became a bizarre footnote in local news: disgraced scholar vanishes after bizarre conspiracy claims. The official narrative, meticulously crafted and rapidly disseminated, painted him as a brilliant but deluded eccentric, succumbing to the pressures of his own fringe obsessions. The Illuminati blueprint was swiftly dismissed as the final hallucinations of a disturbed mind. But Finch's digital legacy was already a force in motion, a ghost in the machine that refused to be contained. The encrypted data packets, containing the very heart of the Illuminati's cadence ciphers, were now circulating in the deepest, most secure corners of the internet. They found their way into the hands of his carefully selected contacts, a shadowy collective of independent researchers who thrived on suppressed knowledge, a few tenacious rogue journalists with an insatiable hunger for inconvenient truths, and a global network of disillusioned tech whistleblowers who felt the insidious grip of control tightening around their own lives. This wasn't a sudden, viral explosion in mainstream media. It was a dangerous whisper network, growing exponentially through encrypted forums, dark web communities, and secure peer-to-peer connections. For those who had already sensed the unraveling fabric of reality, those who felt the subtle disquiet in the world, Finch's delusions resonated with terrifying clarity. The global establishment, with its vast, intricate apparatus of disinformation and narrative control, immediately swung into high gear. AI-powered algorithms flagged conspiracy theory keywords related to Illuminati and 2026 with unprecedented aggression. Seemingly independent fact-checking organizations swiftly published articles debunking the cadence ciphers as unsubstantiated pseudoscience or gross misinterpretations of historical texts. Social media platforms subtly suppressed discussions, labeling them as harmful content that could incite panic or spread misinformation. It was a meticulous, pervasive war for perception, fought in the digital shadows, aimed at burying Finch's truth before it could ignite widespread alarm. Yet, the very act of this coordinated suppression, this blatant attempt to silence, only fueled the suspicion for those already awake. The more they tried to bury it, the louder and more insistent the whispers became. The truth, like a persistent low-frequency hum, refused to be entirely silenced. Simultaneously, the world began to align with the chilling precision of the Illuminati's blueprint. As spring of 2025 gave way to summer, the economic recalibration became subtly evident. Major financial institutions hinted at unprecedented global economic restructuring, promoting new, centralized digital currencies as the future of finance. Simultaneously, the social redefinition manifested through escalating polarization and the rise of seemingly organic, yet meticulously guided, cultural shifts that championed collective compliance over individual liberty. The technological consolidation saw new AI-driven systems integrate seamlessly into public services and infrastructure, promising efficiency while silently expanding surveillance capabilities. And the narrative control intensified, making it increasingly difficult to discern objective truth from expertly crafted disinformation. The urgency of the cadence ciphers, of Finch's final, ignored warnings, no longer felt like a distant threat. It felt like an unfolding reality, happening right outside our windows, pushing humanity inexorably towards the pivotal year of 2026. The fate of Dr. Arthur Finch, the disgraced scholar who dared to decode the Illuminati's final blueprint, remains shrouded in enigma, a chilling testament to the formidable power of suppressed truth. But his desperate act, the digital whispers he unleashed, were not in vain. As the final months of 2025 bled into the terrifying reality of 2026, the world could no longer ignore the chilling alignment of the cadence ciphers with unfolding global events. The discreet leaks from Finch's hidden files, initially dismissed as fringe theories, began to resurface with undeniable relevance, amplified by the very transformations they foretold. The economic recalibration reached its zenith. A massive global economic restructuring, dubbed the Great Reset by mainstream media, was enacted, ostensibly to combat lingering financial instability. This led to the widespread adoption of new, centralized digital currencies, fundamentally altering the way nations and individuals conducted commerce. Vast populations found themselves increasingly reliant on these new digital systems, their financial autonomy subtly eroded, just as the ciphers had detailed. Seemingly disparate financial crises now appeared as perfectly timed cadences, funneling wealth and control into new, predetermined channels. The social redefinition culminated in a pervasive new normal. Societal values shifted dramatically, promoting a collective consciousness that prioritized conformity and a harmonious public image over individual dissent. Through pervasive media influence and subtly altered educational narratives, compliance became the norm, and critical thought, a marginalized anomaly. Public discourse was meticulously managed, ensuring that populations willingly embraced new social contracts that implicitly traded privacy for perceived security, reinforcing the Illuminati's vision of a compliant global society. The technological consolidation achieved unparalleled integration. Smart cities, initially promoted for their efficiency, saw AI-driven governance systems fully integrated into public life, managing everything from traffic flow to resource allocation with seamless, invisible oversight. Ubiquitous surveillance, once a concern, became a normalized expectation, its presence so constant it was no longer questioned. The technological network described in the blueprint solidified into an inescapable web, creating a seamless, invisible system of control that, by mid-2026, was almost impossible to dismantle. Every digital interaction, every movement, every piece of personal data was now part of this grand, orchestrated design. And the narrative control became absolute. The ability for independent thought to truly challenge the established narrative was severely compromised. AI-generated content, news reports, political analyses, even personal testimonials, became so sophisticated, so indistinguishable from human creation, that discerning fact from fiction was an insurmountable task. The media landscape was utterly dominated by carefully curated information flows, and any voice of dissent was swiftly drowned out by a cacophony of expertly managed distractions or outright suppression. The false flag events outlined in the ciphers played out with chilling precision, always justifying the next stage of control, creating crises that demanded the solutions the Illuminati provided. As 2026 reached its midpoint, the convergence of these four pillars of the dark plan was undeniable. The pivotal cadence point had arrived. Humanity, caught in the grip of this grand design, was indeed being enveloped. The ancient warnings, once dismissed as the ramblings of a lone scholar, now resonated with horrifying clarity in every crisis, every headline, every desperate human struggle. The terrifying message, "There are no coincidences, only plans," echoed with an undeniable, chilling truth. The world was not merely evolving, it was being meticulously guided towards a predetermined future. The chilling revelations of the cadence ciphers, meticulously unearthed by Dr. Arthur Finch, have laid bare a terrifying truth. Is it a mere coincidence that global events, seemingly disparate and chaotic, align with such unsettling precision, culminating in the year 2026? Or is it a testament to the enduring influence of the Illuminati, a secret society executing a multi-generational, dark plan to reshape humanity? The question no longer is if these forces are at play, but how deeply we are willing to look, and what we are prepared to do. The signs are undeniable. Look around you. The economic recalibration is transforming our financial freedom. The social redefinition subtly erodes our collective values. The technological consolidation weaves an inescapable web of control. And the narrative control dictates what we perceive as truth. These are not distant threats, they are the very fabric of our present, intensifying as we inexorably march through this pivotal cadence point in 2026. The central message, searingly clear: there are no coincidences, only plans. So, what will you do with this forbidden knowledge? Will you dismiss the cadence ciphers as just another conspiracy theory, allowing yourself to be lulled further into the great illusion of random events? Or will you bravely question the reality around you, recognizing the alarming truth that a meticulously planned future is unfolding, just as the secret documents foretold? The time for passive acceptance is over. The echoes of the dark plan are reverberating, and its consequences are becoming undeniable. Leave your deepest thoughts and interpretations in the comments below. Do you honestly believe we are living through the chilling signs of this grand design? Have you felt the subtle shifts in our world that align with the Illuminati's alleged blueprint? Do you possess the courage, the conviction, to share this vital warning with your friends, your family, your world? Share this video far and wide. Let's collectively unravel the profound mysteries that powerful entities tirelessly attempt to hide from us all. The time for blind acceptance is over. The time for questioning and for action has arrived. The blueprint is here. What will be your legacy in 2026?